Soloist Beomhan is often associated with controversies rather than his music. Now, a recent incident involving accusations of misogyny, ableism, and trivializing serious issues sparked backlash even from non-fans, leading many to ask the question, is he the most controversial idol in K-pop? Beomhan's journey started on January 31st, 2020 when he became a member of the pre-debut group MONT Arena. Being a trainee from a relatively unknown company wasn't what made Beomhan popular with the public, especially international netizens. It was actually his humor. He was pretty active on social media, which made him feel more down to earth, especially to younger audiences who could easily connect with him. In addition, his honesty and lack of a filter made him seem more like someone people could relate to rather than an untouchable idol, but it also got him into a lot of trouble. For example, back in 2022, he once declared that idols shouldn't date because they would be betraying their fans. According to Beomhan, while it may not be a real relationship, the bond between idols and fans is important. To him, if fans are spending money to see an idol perform, it feels unfair for the idol to spend that same money on personal gifts for someone else. This statement received heavy backlash, as people pointed out that Beomhan was just feeding into the fantasies of delusional fans and giving them even more reasons to be delusional. However, 2 years later, Beomhan apologized for his statement on Instagram Live, acknowledging that he had no right to judge others and that this was a valuable lesson for him to be more careful in the future. He later realized his opinion was influenced by his K-pop training, which led him to project those views, but he understood it was wrong. Since Beomhan had apologized and given a reasonable explanation for his line of thinking, this scandal was mostly forgotten as another topic took people's attention. As mentioned, Beomhan has been very open with fans about everything, from his trainee life to the struggles with his mental health. However, on March 8th of 2023, he did an especially concerning live stream in which he admitted that he had attempted to take his own life in the summer of 2022, which he told his therapist about. Even though Beomhan tried to change the subject and make the live stream more lighthearted, fans were still concerned to no end, fearing for his mental well-being. Then, a few months later, things got worse as Beomhan went live on social media once again, warning fans beforehand that the topics he was going to discuss were pretty heavy. Among other things, he mentioned that he had gone 2 days without eating, and it probably would have been more if the fans hadn't intervened. In a concerning twist, he admitted that he hadn't left his room ever since he got back to Korea and said that his actions were a cry for help. Then he gave yet another trigger warning before showing his scars of self-harm as he stated, "I've been going live with short sleeves this whole time. Do I sometimes cry for help? Yes, but also, it's not your responsibility to help me." True to his nature, he started talking about less serious topics as if he didn't admit to harming himself and showed his scars. The live stream started a lot of discussions, with most fans being understandably concerned at what Beomhan had revealed, feeling devastated about the state he was in. There were also questions about why the company wasn't taking any steps to help him with his mental health. As it turns out, though, they didn't care about his well-being and even saw him as a burden. Just a week after the live stream, on September 6, 2023, FM Entertainment terminated his contract. In their statement, they said that the termination had been a mutual decision as both sides had acknowledged that they were going in different directions. They said, "Beomhan has distorted the truth on numerous occasions and spread misleading information during live broadcasts. Consequently, other FM artists and fans have experienced significant mental distress and stress as a result." They also mentioned having gathered all the evidence related to the false claims Beomhan made during his live broadcasts and would sue him if he continued to spread allegedly incorrect claims. This aggressive statement garnered a lot of explosive reactions, with fans accusing the company of mistreating its trainees and then attempting to hide it by threatening to sue Beomhan. According to the things he had said, the company allegedly didn't provide him with health insurance or financial support during a shoulder surgery he had. He also claimed he wasn't given proper food, which is why he didn't eat for over 2 days. On top of that, he wasn't even allowed to speak freely with his therapist because the company feared he might overshare, leaving him to handle everything alone. However, with their statement, the company portrayed him as the villain, which shocked and hurt him when he saw it. Despite the termination of his contract, Beomhan kept his head up and kept doing his thing. However, that didn't mean that he stayed free of controversies. One of them involved his behavior at a club as he allegedly skipped the line at a Hongdae club and attempted to fight the bouncer. In response, Beomhan admitted that he had indeed been at a club in Hongdae, but had to get out because he started having a panic attack due to the overwhelming atmosphere. He then tried to re-enter the club, and he showed the bouncer his stamp just like any other person coming back inside. He then described how the bouncer stopped him and his friend, pushing him roughly. In response, he pushed the bouncer's hand away. Beomhan admitted that he was dealing with some personal struggles at the time, and while he thought the bouncer's actions felt exaggerated, he took responsibility for what he did. He also faced SA allegations, which turned out to be false false and was accused of hitting a fan's car and then driving away. However, none of these controversies turned out to be as serious as the one he has just recently been involved in. Just days after Donald Trump's election as US president, Beomhan hosted a live stream on November 8th. His fans, especially women, people of color, and those in the LGBTQ+ community, were obviously upset and hoped he would offer words of comfort during the stream, given how outspoken he had been in the past. Instead, Beomhan made sarcastic comments, jokingly saying, "Rest in peace, women," and mockingly congratulating Trump. He even parodied Kanye West's interruption of Taylor Swift at the VMAs. While some fans saw it as his way of using humor to handle a difficult moment, others felt it was an inappropriate time for jokes, especially when so many, particularly women, were deeply impacted by Trump's election. Just like with his remarks about idols dating, Beomhan saw all the backlash directed toward him and decided to apologize. After the live stream, he made a tweet admitting he had made light of a sensitive issue. He explained that his jokes were intended to ease the tension for those struggling, but acknowledged his words could have hurt others. He reaffirmed his support for women's rights and promised to express it more clearly in the future. This time, though, a simple apology didn't cut it. Many responded to his tweet, urging him to back his words with actions and prove he was genuinely sorry. Instead of following through, he retracted his apology, told everyone to shut up, and lashed out, telling people to direct their frustration elsewhere and bother someone else. It didn't end there. Beomhan posted yet another tweet explaining that his behavior was his way of coping and claiming he was just a target for others' anger. In a follow-up post, he stated he planned to go live on Instagram and end his career, saying he'd been anticipating this moment since July 2022, which is when he said he had attempted to take his own life. Then he went on another Instagram live where he went around campus for about 20 to 30 minutes, yelling at the viewers, cursing them out in misogynistic terms, and saying ableist slurs. He also completely disregarded their criticism, telling people they were stupid and hateful. While his previous tweets had sparked significant backlash, his Instagram live drew attention even from people unfamiliar with him, adding fuel to the fire. Some noted the irony of Beomhan feeling secure enough to roam alone at night, shouting and cursing, all because he was criticized for his insensitive comments. Another one said, all Beomhan had to do was take accountability for what he said, but instead, he's acting like when a child gets sent to timeout. Once again, Beomhan apologized for his remarks in two other tweets, in which he clarified he was not a Trump supporter. He also said that he didn't mean to diminish women's struggles, and stated that he was just repeating a slur somebody was saying it to him and didn't say it himself. In yet another apology post, he expressed gratitude to those holding him accountable and promised to take steps to regain their trust. While admitting to past struggles with mental health, he acknowledged that it didn't excuse his recent actions, explaining that his outburst came after years of pent-up frustration, but committed to seeking professional help to better understand and address his emotions. If you thought the situation couldn't get any messier, you would be wrong. A person claiming to be a former staff member who worked closely with Beomhan alleged that his social media behavior reflects his true nature, sparking concerns about what might happen off-camera. Meanwhile, Day 6 member Jay urged empathy, suggesting Beomhan might be experiencing a manic episode and pleading for accountability without risking his well-being. Words he took back once he got more context about what was happening. Because the issue had become so big that it reached even non-fans, Beomhan felt the need to address the accusations against him once again. In a live stream after the incident, he took responsibility for his actions and apologized for what he said. He also acknowledged that his cursing outburst and the chaotic Instagram live were irresponsible and inappropriate, especially since his fans were watching. Beomhan clarified that his anger wasn't aimed at those calling him out, but at the people spreading hate. However, he admitted his actions were inappropriate, especially with fans watching. He apologized again, admitting he handled things poorly, but clarified he never threatened self-harm and reassured fans that he is seeking therapy and counseling for his mental health. Despite all the explanations, people were still wary of him, but acknowledged that what he needed was to take a social media break. A user commented, "He needs to leave social media and the public sphere for the sake of his own mental health. The past few weeks have shown that he is not cut out for the idol life regardless of his musical ability." Beomhan has decided to take a break to focus on his mental health and seek professional help before returning, and given everything that's happened recently, this seems like the right step for him.